Dr. Chris Imafidon, world-renowned educator, advisor to governments, monarchs, corporations, and Dr. Imafidon has worked very closely with us on the Apex Universities program. In your experience, Dr. Imafidon, how would you say young people would benefit from being a part of the Apex Universities program?
Every single secondary school child needs that exposure of Apex. Why? It takes you away from your traditional school setting, puts you in a university environment, a very, very prestigious university environment, and you now see how world-class universities deliver their programs. That's one, so exposure. Number two, you interact with students that are currently at such universities, and you find out that they are not that superhuman. They are not that extraordinary as a lot of us get the impression that, for you to go to the top university, you need to have this, you have to have double heads, you have to, no, they are just normal people, they make normal mistakes, they go to normal restaurants that we go to, and that reduces that, if you like, fear that the best is not good enough for me. Then three, you now find out about the procedure for application, and you now start preparing early, so you get all the awards you've had before, and if you were working on your Duke of Edinburgh award, if you were playing with it, you were not sure whether you want to go to bronze, you want to settle for silver, you come back re-enthused because you now know that it's a major consideration if you want to go to a top university. You know what it means to write a personal statement, which is a big factor in getting admissions to the university. You know what exact grades they're looking for. You know what qualifications will you get. You know the alternative qualification routes that are not available to everybody. So you go back to your school, not just doing things because of your teachers, or because your friends in school said, but because the university of your dream requires this. And it's not that difficult to do a DOE. I really don't understand why most people don't go for DOE. So you now see the importance of certain subjects that are linked to your career. So if you now want to really pursue that career, you've spoken to them at Oxford or Cambridge, and you now want to pursue that career, you go back to your school, the way you will look at the subjects will be totally different because you now know that those subjects are your key subjects to be able to get into those universities. So you're not just doing it for academic reasons. You're not doing it because it's routine. You're doing it because you absolutely need it to be able to hit your target university. So those are some very simple things, but yet effective ways of trying to make a compelling application at UCAS. If you don't know this, you just go along. Oh, it's nice to go to classes. Oh, yeah, it's good to have good grades. No, you now know that it's absolutely necessary for you to get the best grades you can. And it's absolutely necessary for you to do things like EPQ. If your school gives you the opportunity, you do your extended project qualification and you come and show it to them. Then you get to know about the application test that is related to your field of endeavor. If you wanted to read medicine, you now know BMAT is useful. If you want to read law, you now know that LNAT is useful. Most universities don't ask for this. So until you attend this, you will never be able to know. So the Apex opportunity is bigger than the Open Day if you want one. Even when we're looking for want of comparison. In Open Days, you are shepherded around specific areas and you don't even have enough time to see places. But in the Apex University, you are embedded in the system. So you see, you interact, you ask a lot of questions, and you get a lot of clarification. So that's the reason why every single student that is in secondary school today ought to go on a program like the Apex University and make sure that they make best use of it, because it's not a meritocracy. If Father, you got A stars, does not mean you're going to get a top university. It's an information-based system. It's the amount of information you have, and Apex opens massive doors for you to get all the information you need for your application and even internship.
Thank you. Having said that, Dr. Imafidon, 73% of our Apex students who left year 13 this year got into Russell Group universities, which we're really, really proud of.
Fantastic.
And most of them they went to state schools. Some of them, their parents never went to university. Wow. In fact, a vast majority of them. A question to you I would pose to you is, there are a lot of myths, and you did mention it earlier, about people who attend the Russell Group universities not necessarily being superhuman. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of common myths about Oxbridge and Russell Group universities and attending them. One of them is that they're only for the privileged few. What other common myths do you think, or would you say there are in relation to attending Russell Group universities?
That you have to be a top A student in all your subjects. That's another one. And then number two, that they are more expensive than your local regional university. I'm not saying put it down local regional university. I'm just saying that if you have the aptitude, why not apply for it? So the cost you pay is not even, in fact, the reverse is the case. There are more bursaries and scholarships in Oxford and Cambridge than in most other institutions. So the higher you go, the cooler it really becomes as far as the economic penalty is concerned. And then if you're aware of musical scholarship, you can even go as a musical scholar. It means you get paid to study. And you don't have to study music, by the way. As a musical scholar, you can be a mathematician, you can be studying engineering, you can be studying medicine. But because you play an instrument, you join the choir or you join the orchestra of your college in Oxford, they remunerate you and they put you on a very special path. So it's ignorance that makes people want to turn down top universities. And another thing that a lot of people say top universities are for special people that attend private schools. And I have had the joy of getting inner city after inner city students get into top university. They don't look at your postcode. They just want to test your brain code. You don't have to live in a particular posh area, or your father has to be a big man in the city, or has to be an MP, or no. It's all down to how well you make your application.
Fantastic. Now, so I'll ask you in closing. Some people think you can't have it all. So in other words, you can't play sports and do academics, and that it's either one or the other. And not very many people realize that they both complement each other. What are your views?
It's again, that sentence is a product of ignorance, because if you're good in one thing, you can be good in everything. The same principles that leads to success in sports is exactly the same principles that leads to success in maths, in engineering, and in technology. I would even surmise to say that if you're good at music, that's the reason why you'll be good at sports, because music requires a lot of practice and dedication. If you now switch that same methodology to sports, I mean, EIE does a lot of competition from time to time. We have found out that a lot of students that have good study habits, have good practice habits, and therefore can switch from sport to music. And we have students that have distinguished themselves, won scholarships on sporting, for rugby. The same student goes ahead to win scholarship for music, and the same student goes ahead to win scholarship for academic, verbal, non-verbal testing. So it really means that you now know the formula to drive a car, whichever make the car is. So the make can be a Volvo, it can be a Mercedes, it can be a Honda. So you now know how to get the top marks in sports, in music, and in academia. So I think we need to really bust that myth. And every teacher needs to tell students that you can't be a one-legged beast. You can be very good at everything.
Okay. And I'll say finally, and this is my last question, what tips would you give to our current year 11, year 10, 11 students and our A-level students who are preparing for their exams in terms of the best way for them to prepare? What 3 tips would you leave with them?
To prepare for exam or to prepare for the university application?
For the exams, the GCSEs and the A-levels.
For your exam, please, number 1 tip is do not read recommended textbooks and hope to get your top grades. You've got to know your own learning styles. You've got to be able to get materials that are complementary to your learning style. So if you're an auditory learner, please get podcasts instead of reading boring black and white textbooks, particularly if they are on the recommended list, because traditionally recommended textbooks are very academic, decided by people that have world experts in it, and not keen on communicating that knowledge to people that are coming up on introductory programs. So please do not rely on black and white recommended textbook. Number 2, your so-called mobile phone and your computer are not games or gaming machine. They are learning machines. So you make very good use of the technology available to you. And the third thing is that every human being is a genius, because biologically, when you came out of your mother's birth canal, you had 1 million cells in your brain. And one brain alone has a capacity to be able to multiply, divide, and more than the most sophisticated computer that NASA has. That's the truth. So you are operating with the clear understanding that this is the height you can get to. So you now aim for that height, and don't let anybody tell you be realistic, don't aim for the highest. You have to aim for the highest. If you don't aim for the highest, you have literally denied yourself your best.
Dr. Imafidon, thank you for giving us your time and lending us your time. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to working with you next year